And greetings, my friend. Welcome to day 6 here in the Red Delta Project video advent calendar. Wearing my festive green here to illustrate today's top exercise, which is going to piggyback off of what we were talking about yesterday, where I was implementing rotation in the arms to amplify your pike push-ups for better shoulder development and shoulder safety. And today we're going to do the exact same thing with our pull chain movements, particularly pull-ups, but it also applies to rows. Of course, we're talking about utilizing rotation with pulling, which with rows, maybe if you're doing them on rings or suspension straps, may be a little bit easier to come by. But with pull-ups, sometimes it's a little harder because we're often doing them off of solid, straight bars, or sometimes even with like doorway pull-up bars, you may find yourself with like a neutral handle or something where you're in a fixed position. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with using a bar, and you can get some degree of rotation because we were getting rotation in our arms yesterday from having our hands in a fixed position on the floor or on an elevated surface. But when it comes to pull-ups, it's typically a lot easier if you can implement some sort of hanging handle that you can rotate with. You can buy certain things. These are straps and handles from one of my favorite manufacturers, Kensui, which feel really good in the hand. They always make great quality products. I'll put a product link and a discount code down below if you want to check out some of this stuff. But you can easily make it, of course, with just a simple length of rope and some PVC handles. You just kind of thread the rope over the bar and rotate, and it's the same basic idea. But when we get our rotation, we want to make sure that we're not losing the tension control in the back. I get this question a lot where people are like, what do you think about dead hang type pull-ups where you lose the tension at the bottom? I'm not a big fan of that. I know a lot of folks will say, oh, it's not good for the shoulders, it's not good for the joints and stuff. Put all that aside because we can debate that, whether or not that's true or not, endlessly. Doesn't matter. Basically, when we lose tension, we lose any benefit of really doing the exercise. So it's a classic example of just because it's harder doesn't mean it's more effective. So while we utilize our rotation in the pull-up exercise, we want to make sure that we're not getting that rotation at the sake of tension control. So setting off, engaging tension in the back, biceps, forearms, and that way I have full engagement from top to bottom. And it feels really good in the elbows, in the shoulders, but once again, it allows me to have that rotation that allows me to squeeze things together. And you don't need like full rotation. I had like 180 degrees going on there from fully supinated to pronated grips, but you can play around with it in subtle ways too. Go with a neutral grip to a supinated grip, or even just a subtle pronated supinated grip, just a little bit. That's one of the benefits of utilizing rotating handles is you can have just the movement and just the width and just the angles that suit your body type and allow you to work your muscles to a much higher degree in a way that's best for you. Just once again, do bear in mind that utilizing these types of handles and utilizing all that rotation and pull-ups is probably going to make your repetitions drop to a substantial degree. So if you're used to doing like 10 pull-ups and suddenly you're only getting 4 or 5, that's perfectly okay. Don't get your ego too hung up on the repetition number because now you're working your muscles potentially a lot harder. Feel free to utilize a regress technique, things like putting your feet on a chair or an elevated surface, or if you can bring the handles or the rings down low enough so your feet are on the floor, that can be great. Once again, I put a micro workout down below in the description if you want to play around with this type of rotating pull-up. And again, the Kensui product page is there. I also put a link down below of the DIY bowline trainer that I have, which is also an easy way to make rotating handles from just a couple of good sturdy lengths of rope and PVC handles. So play around with it. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Best of luck in your workouts this week. Be fit and live free.